It is that time again, gentlemen. This discussion will cover future banners leading up to the 5th anniversary. Let us get straight into it. After the current event ends, next are the Ritsu, Miyu, and Shiji banners, which are also skippable. Ritsu is a single target attack speed buffer, similar to HS Chinatsu, but her current performance is underwhelming, and there is no content where she truly excels. The S.Hina, S.Iri, and S.Memori rerun banners are likewise skippable. Following this, a new event titled Magical Girl will be released, featuring M.Suzumi and Sigma M.Reisa as limited banners. At the moment, these two are worth considering, although further testing is still needed to fully evaluate their versatility. Despite the lack of concrete proof, they feel important for future content. M.Suzumi is an AoE support, who increases attack and applies a new buff called Basic Proficiency, lasting 41 seconds. Basic Proficiency increases damage from basic attacks, basic skills, and sub-skills, but does not affect X skills. In short, all damage sources except X skills are enhanced. Her X skill cost is high, but the long duration compensates for it. Additionally, her sub-skill improves X skill cost recovery, further offsetting this drawback. Her primary role is for Yes at phase 2, which requires 2 AoE buffers, 1 debuffer, and crowd control. M.Suzumi serves as one of the buffers, with Miyu being the other. She is a solid buffer for Yes at phase 2, and may also see use in Fury of Seth. M.Reisa is particularly appealing, genuinely a Sigma tier healer. She is a strong healer classified as a summoned unit, which means she naturally can pull aggro, and rizzes the enemy into throwing attacks at her instead of your team. Tactical Riz, no joke. Upon summoning, she provides healing over time alongside an attack buff. The attack buff itself may not look massive on paper, but pairing sustain and defense in one kit is straight up value. Quietly busted, and aura positive. Some players say she outright replaces HS Shijuya, and honestly, that take isn't delusional. M.Reisa offers consistent survivability while passively enabling damage, and she does it without demanding constant attention. She stabilizes runs, farms aura, and refuses to fold. Certified Sigma behavior. From an endgame perspective, a lot of encounters feel noticeably smoother with her on the team. I have tested her in Yes at phase 1 and Hieronymus, where her healing over time performs extremely well. These are currently the only raids where I have been able to test her extensively, and some on regular endgame content, but the results are clean and approved. In summary, both banner are worth pulling, but Sigma M.Reisa is the one you should go for. M.Suzumi dominates Yes at phase 2, while M.Reisa very comfort healer and small attack buffer. Skipping them is not recommended. Pulling them without overthinking whether they are meta is a certified Sigma move. But M.Reisa is an absolute W banner here. Honestly, I can't fully explain how good M.Reisa is. She is simply too good to properly put into words. Once you have her, and build her to the maximum skills, level, and at UE 40, you will understand that most run become comfortable with her. Probably, the comfiest healer that you should get for. Following this will be several rerun banners, Miyako, Saki, Moe, Kyuto Moe, Q-Marina skippable. Mine, Sigma Reisha, S-Inita, SUE, Subaru are skippable. Many players may question skipping SUE, as she was once considered the best piercing buffer. However, her relevance dropped significantly after Seiya was released. Although SUE and CE serve different purposes, CE's X skill cost reduction is far more valuable for piercing and others attack type teams. In practice, SUE is rarely used even in Torment difficulty. Whether due to her X skill cost, awkward repositioning that can lead to disruption of basic skills, she simply does not feel effective. Most veteran players would agree that her usage rate is extremely low. As such, SUE is safely skippable. And the good news is that B.Himari has been released, and has the ability to increase piercing effectiveness. Although she is classified as a TS unit, she may become one of the best piercing buffers to obtain when her banner is available. Subaru is essentially a cheaper and weaker version of T.Shiroko Terra. If you lack T.Shiroko Terra, it is better to wait for her a run rather than pull Subaru. Next, Takane and Yakumo are released. From a casual perspective, both are skippable. Takane is a cheap striker healer similar to Himari or Kokona, but she lacks X skill cost reduction. Her versatility is questionable, and Himari performs significantly better. Since Himari's banner appears shortly after, it is better to save for her. Yakumo is mainly useful for high difficulty Kaiten phase 1, with limited applicability elsewhere. Afterward, the idle banner run appears. You should prioritize Himari, and if possible, also pull I.Sakurako. Himari is one of the most versatile healers, and frequently used in raids such as Hieronymus, Gebura, Kurokage, Gregorius, and Yesod. Even if you already own Kokona, Himari effectively replaces her. I.Sakurako is highly recommended for cheesing Gebura and Gregorius raids. Without her, these raids become significantly more difficult. If you can only choose one, prioritize Himari. Kazusa and Keiho are currently skippable due to limited use. The banners for S.Hoshino, H.S. Shigeru, Minori, and Meru are also skippable. While H.S. Shigeru is a comfortable healer, M.Reisa can fill a similar role with a different playstyle. Next comes D.Michiru and Itsukuyo. D.Michiru is a cheap special healer with X skill cost reduction and regeneration, similar to S.Shiroko. However, her overall utility does not match S.Shiroko's, and she currently has no content where she is truly needed. D.Tsukuyo is a budget version of B.Hoshino, capable of blocking attacks and useful for Shirokuro raids. However, since B.Hoshino reruns during the 5th anniversary, it is better to wait. Before the dress banner ends, the Recollection banner appears for 1 week. This banner allows you to spark old fest students, Wakamo, S.Hoshino, and Mika. These students will not appear in future fest banners. The SSR rate is the same as a normal banner, but the value lies in accessing these old fest units. If you are missing them, I highly recommend pulling, especially S.Hoshino, who offers exceptional versatility. However, keep in mind that the 5th anniversary fest is close, so saving at least 2 sparks, or 48,000 Pyroxenes for B.Arisu and Kenny is strongly advised. 2 weeks after, T.Mari, T.Yuuka, Kisaki, and Ryojo reruns. Among these, Kisaki is highly recommended. She remains the most commonly used special support in the game. T.Yuuka is also worth pulling if you do not own her, as she makes Shirokuro and Goz raids significantly easier. T.Mari and Ryojo are skippable. The 5th anniversary follows, with 100 free pulls for B.Rio and B.Himari. At present, B.Rio appears to be a decent explosive DPS. B.Himari may become a powerful support for lunatic difficulty, but their value is still uncertain. Regardless, you must spend the free pulls. The choice is yours, Big Milk or Beautiful Cake. But what if you are unable to obtain both B.Rio and B.Himari, and must choose only one? Who should you pick? Frankly, I have not thought too far ahead on this matter. B.Rio can likely be skipped, as she is a decent explosive DPS, and most players already have stronger alternatives. B.Himari on the other hand, appears to have potential for endgame content, therefore, it should be acceptable to spark B.Himari if you must choose one. However, keep in mind that the fest banners take priority over both of them. Unless of course, you are truly committed to choosing between Big Milk and Beautiful Cake. Finally, B.Arisu and Kenny are released, alongside reruns of T.Shiroko and B.Hoshino. Both B.Arisu and Kenny are must-pull units. B.Arisu is a mystic hyper carry with a charge-based X skill system that greatly amplifies her damage. Her sub-skill converts all damage sources into X skill damage, allowing her to fully benefit from Kisaki's buffs. Although B.Arisu is still newly released and lacks extensive raid data, early testing and final restriction release battle shows that she can carry teams up to Chokma floor 124, though S-Sori is still required for that content. Kenny appears to be a top tier mystic support and sub DPS. Her X skill provides an AoE mystic damage buff, and importantly, it is an aura type buff. This allows it to stack with NYKO's mystic buff, enabling double mystic buffing for a mystic hyper carry without conflicts. While the effectiveness of her other skills still requires further testing, her X skill alone is already extremely powerful and justifies her value. In conclusion, While these insights may evolve with further testing, Fest units like B.Arisu and Kei are almost guaranteed to be strong and versatile, making them highly valuable for future content. B.Arisu is a hyper-carry mystic DPS capable of dealing exceptionally high damage and melts special armored bosses when her X skill is fully charged, while Kei is an essential mystic supporter. Her X skill applies an AoE mystic aura buff, which stacks with N.Y.K.O.K.O, making her incredibly valuable as mystic supporter. A new chemical attack and composite armor type is also introduced. Composite armor resists mystic and elastic damage, and both B.Arisu and Kei possess it. So, let us summarize which banners are worth pulling. First, M.Suzumi and M.Reisa limited banner, although their overall performance in raid content is not yet fully clear. Certain content has already demonstrated that both units are highly valuable. M.Suzumi is essential for Yes at phase 2, and functions as a Fury of Set buffer. M.Reisa can be considered an upgraded version of HS Shijuya, and is useful for Yes at phase 1 and Hieronymus, with the potential to be valuable in many other types of content. Second, Imari and I.Sakurako, limited rerun banner. Imari has recently proven to be widely used, and can replace Kokona as a main low-cost striker healer due to her X skill cost reduction support sub-skill. However, she is still unable to replace Kokona in Fury of Set. She performs well in raids such as Hieronymus, Kurokage, Gebura, Yesod, and many other use cases. I.Sakurako may not appeal to players who dislike using special units as DPS carries, but she is still highly recommended. Special DPS carries are increasingly tied to core game content. Having I.Sakurako significantly boosts the damage output of special DPS units. Without her, their damage potential is considerably reduced. Last banner buff for the anniversary, must pull units. Kisaki, non-limited rerun banner, and T.Yuuka. Limited rerun banner, Kisaki is one of the most commonly used units among players. While she can be replaced by Himari, Kisaki generally provides greater overall value. T.Yuuka is the most comfortable and reliable repositioning unit for Shirokuro and Goz raids, especially for players who prefer the easiest and most consistent approach to defeating these bosses. Both banners are worth pulling. However, if you have limited resources and prioritize the Fest banner, they can be skipped. Kisaki can be borrowed, and Himari can serve as an acceptable substitute if necessary. The same applies to T.Yuuka, you may borrow her specifically for Shirokuro and Goz raids. Honorable mention, Recollection or the Fest Archive banner, Wakamo, S.Hoshino, and Mika will appear in this banner. All three are still worth obtaining at this stage. If you are missing any of these past Fest students, you should plan accordingly, as they will not be available as off-banner spooks in future Fest banners. If you already own all three, this banner is an easy skip, especially since it is not a Fest banner with doubled SSR8s. New limited banner, B.Rio and B.Himari. B.Rio has proven to be a decent explosive DPS. If you are the type of player who prefers using D.Hina for all explosive content regardless of terrain suitability, then B.Rio may be skippable for you. Unless you are particularly interested in the character herself, the Big Milk Live 2D that is, B.Himari appears to have strong future potential as a piercing support unit. I recommend using the free 100 pulls on her banner as a precaution, in case she becomes highly valuable in future content. Moreover, she offers beautiful cake for those who loves cake. I will provide further evaluation once their banners are officially released. So, moving on. The 5th anniversary banner, B.Arisu and Kei, Fest limited banner, B.Hoshino and T.Shiroko, Fest limited rerun banner. All available Fest units are worth pulling, but B.Arisu and Kei should be given the highest priority. B.Arisu is a hyper carry mystic DPS, capable of dealing exceptional damage to special armor content. Kei functions as a premier support for mystic DPS units, significantly amplifying their damage output. B.Hoshino remains a reliable dual role unit, a tank for Shirokuro and other raid content serve as an automatic defense debuffer. As an attacker, she can easily handle Pyroxenes raids and Kurokage Grand Assault. T.Shiroko is mainly used as a sub-DPS. It is uncertain whether she will remain necessary after B.Arisu's release. but she can still be effectively used in Fury of Set. Additional regular banners, B.Arisu and B.Himari. B.Arisu has potential synergy with B.Arisu, as she reduces X skill cost for 3 uses, and provides a significant attack increase. The attack buff activates when the target uses their X skill, allowing for flexible timing without urgency. In summary, these are the banners that are currently recommended for pulling. The remaining banners lack sufficient clarity to justify strong recommendations at this time. At the end of the day, if a character is your waifu, meta considerations are secondary. Pull what makes you happy. This game is about enjoyment first. And that should be all. As always, Godspeed.